everybody, my name is Rubee and I am the resident musical theatre nerd at the Northumbria Horror Society. Today I'm going to be going through the top 5 most well-known horror musicals. Now, you might think it's weird that I'm making a video on the top 5 most well-known musicals because why do we need a list? Everyone already knows them. Not quite. While these are most well known in either horror spheres or musical theatre spheres, for anyone that either falls in the middle or either side of those, they might be ones that you're not too sure of or haven't listened to in depth. Now, all these musicals you can stream on Spotify or you can listen to the full soundtrack on YouTube, and there's quite a few bootlegs. There are also quite a lot of community theatre performances that might give you more of a taste for the script of the show. I will link a few down below so you can check them out if you want. The first musical I'm going to mention is Carrie. Now, if this had been filmed a few years ago, Carrie would not have made this list. It had a short stint off Broadway in the 80s, but it was a massive financial flop. People just weren't here for it. Fortunately though, it was picked back up in 2012 for an off-Broadway production and had some improvements. In my opinion, it still needs a couple more improvements. Maybe in the next off-Broadway run they do that. But Carrie has gained popularity in the most recent years because of Riverdale. Now, I don't watch Riverdale, but I do pay attention to when they do a musical rendition of the show. Now, your girl loves a musical episode. Once More with Feeling from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's one of the best TV episodes of all time. Do not fight me on this. I will come for you. Riverdale's record with musical episodes has been... They did Heathers, and that was bad. I don't think I'm being controversial when I say that. But when they did Carrie, I think they did it a lot better. Did they do it amazing? No, but they did it better than they did Heather. Also, I really like a show as big as Riverdale, spreading some light on a musical that's not well known. There are loads of really good productions on YouTube, and I believe the full off-Broadway production both times, the 80s and the 2012 version, are on YouTube as well. This musical is a great choice for any amateur production if you have an abundance of women, which most musical theatre societies do. I don't think there's any that don't. I think Carrie is on the more tame side of horror on this list. I know when you see something that's based on something by Stephen King, it's terrifying, but it's not grotesque as in blood is getting spurted at you from all angles. Although, if you fancy doing that, I would be here for it. As I say every time, more blood in theatre. Might just be my catchphrase. Next up, I'm going to be discussing Evil Dead. Evil Dead is not very well known, but I'm including it on this list because it has a massive cult following, and the tour in America is doing really well. Well, it was doing really well before the lockdown. I did say Carrie was not as grotesque as some of the ones on this list. I was mainly referencing Evil Dead. Evil Dead has a splash zone, and they give the first 2-3 rows plastic rain ponchos so that they don't ruin their clothes, because most fake blood stains. There's a lot of swearing, it's unapologetically controversial, and it just looks like great fun to do. I'm absolutely desperate to be in a production of Evil Dead. It's one of my most favourite musicals. It's kind of a meme in the musical theatre society I'm always in, because all I do is talk about Evil Dead the musical all the time, because I really want people to listen to it. It's a good musical, it's a fun musical, and more people should listen to it. This is a great musical if you don't like one that's more on the serious side, if you like more campy. It deliberately camps it up to a ridiculous level and makes it really funny. A really good solo if you're looking for an audition piece for a lower voiced female is All the Men in My Life Keep Getting Killed by Kandarian Demons. Long title, but good song. There's also a big dance number in this that's instructional called Do the Necronomicon, and it is amazing to listen to. The dance is infectious. I don't think I could listen to it and not start doing the dance. I'll try and insert a clip here.
First we jump, then we sink down, then we get back up and laugh so all over. Then we swing, clap our hands, then take every moment to acknowledge the way.
So yeah, go listen to Evil Dead the musical. Next up, I'm going to mention Rocky Horror. I'm mentioning this mainly because of the song that's really famous, Time Warp. Maybe not everyone knows it's from Rocky Horror, but I'm assuming most people do. The movie is an absolutely amazing movie, and you can pick it up quite cheap if you want to watch it. I really recommend you do. And if you see a touring production, I really recommend going to see it. Usually the tickets aren't as expensive as other touring productions of musicals, and the audience participation is obviously something that really lacks in the movie. And people dress up and it's a bit of fun and no one takes themselves seriously. I think I first watched it, I think I was like 6. And I was at my friend's house, her mum put it on, and for some reason, like, the video she had started right when they, like, at Eddie's scene. Then it, like, goes, you know, Dr. Frankenfurter is furious and then goes and, you know, just bashes him in with a hammer. And I was like, huh, This is a weird musical, said the child that was pretty much raised on Seven Brides for Seven Brothers and Singing in the Rain. I guess you could say that it opened my eyes to different types of musical theatre. Next, and I'm gonna have to mention it because it is a really well-known horror musical, Phantom of the Opera. Can you see that I don't really care for it? I've not seen it all the way through. I got bored of the movie, so I don't really want to spend money to go see it, if I'm honest. What if I get bored of the show? I mean, the last Andrew Lloyd Webber show that I went to go see was Cats, and I left about quarter way through because it is crap. I think the only Lloyd Webber musical I actually like is School of Rock. I think that's just because Alex Brightman is just so infectious in every role he does. It's like, yeah, I love this. Anyway, so Phantom of the Opera. Good songs in it if you're upon it. Maybe that's why I'm really anti Phantom of the Opera. With having like a higher voice and being a classical singer, everyone's like, do think of me. Do think of me, please. Just do. Oh, you sing classical? Do think of me. Stop it. No. I've recently started tolerating more songs because since watching Umbrella Academy, they did Lindsay Stirling's kind of mixture medley of different Phantom of the Opera songs, and she does like a rock version, and honestly, it's amazing. I feel like the TV show Heaven described my feelings towards it.
So he took me to London, to the West End, and got us tickets to see
Phantom of the Opera.
How did you know?
Oh, Joe's taken me to see that more times than I care to mention. If I see that ugly fella cry because he's never been kissed one more time, I will swing for someone.
She loves the Phantom, your mum.
I do have to give Phantom of the Opera credit though. The year that and Into the Woods came out, it pretty much saved Broadway. They were in massive debt at the time, so I do have to give it credit. People liked it, and it produced more musicals out of it. I'm not going to thank it for Love Never Dies though. I did watch that movie. It's terrible. It's bad. It's straight up bad, guys. Don't watch it. And the horror musical that I think is the most well known is Sweeney Todd. Now, the way I first discovered Sweeney Todd was through the movie. My brother, who was 5 years older than me, he managed to get his mate to buy him a movie that was an 18. I would have been 10, he would have been 15. Anyway, so my brother was 15 and he managed to get a friend to buy him a movie, and he saw Sweeney Todd. Now, Sweeney Todd, I don't know if it is in the US, but in the UK it is rated 18, so only 18-year-olds can buy the DVD. So he bought it and was like, yeah, because our mum is dead into history, so she used to tell us about Sweeney Todd, all the legends of Sweeney Todd and stuff. And you're like, that's scary, that's gonna be great, we'll watch this horror movie. So I sat with him when he first put the DVD on, and then No Place Like London starts playing, and I just see my brother's face just drop. I was like, oh my god, it's a fucking musical. I don't want to watch a musical. Oh, this is so stupid. I'm like, so he left the room in a strop, and I stayed and watched it, and I fell in love with it. Probably partly because I'm mildly obsessed with Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter and Tim Burton. But it also started an obsession with Stephen Sondheim, which is fab. I feel like the movie did help it become very popular and probably the most well known, but it was very, very well known at the time when it debuted on Broadway. I don't like the original Broadway cast. I know I was a musical theatre person, that's blasphemous. I don't like Angela Lansbury in that part. I'm sorry. I think she sounds like Dick Van Dyke on steroids. Not a fan. My favourite cast recording, which I'm going to link down below, is the Imelda Staunton and Michael Ball production from 2012, I believe, in the West End. There is a full bootleg of the original Broadway production. I'll try and find that and link that down below. And I believe there is also one for the 2005 Broadway production. Patti LuPone is Mrs. Lovett. I don't hate her. I just hate everything else about the production. They took a risk, which is brave. It just didn't pay off, in my opinion. A lot of musical theatre people really shit all over the movie of Sweeney Todd. It does cut out some songs that I really enjoy, like City on Fire is one of my favourite songs in the musical, and it got cut out. It makes sense that it got cut out though. It wouldn't make sense in a movie setting. You imagine people in the cinema listening and all you hear is like the foghorns going beep. It would cause people pain. They would leave. Also, that would work with a big ensemble, and in a movie it's a lot harder to push in an ensemble without it looking weird. Obviously it works in movies like Chicago because they play it as though it's on stage, but you can't really do that with a storyline like Sweeney Todd. Let's stop being mean about Johnny Depp's voice. He tried really hard, guys. It's just mean. Also, I'll give some recognition to Jamie Campbell-Bower, who has lovely hair. No, his voice is very sweet. I just think it's a good cast. I mean, Alan Rickman's in it, for crying out loud. And even my boy Anthony Stewart Head has like one line in it, and I appreciate seeing him there because I love him. I mean, I already mentioned Buffy. That's my list. One musical I was contemplating including on here, but I didn't eventually, was Little Shop of Horrors. If you were expecting to find it on here, if I made it 6, it would have made it. The reason Little Shop of Horrors didn't make it is because a lot of people, I've realised recently, don't know it too well. The only people I know that know it is people that already are in musical theatre stuff. So I would say bordering on it, but not quite. But it's currently off Broadway. Jeremy Jordan's going to be playing Seymour soon, so, you know, it might make the list in the future. Saying that like I'm going to make another one of these. And since I seem to always do awkward cutaways to the end screen, I'm going to do this. She's gone.